Today's biggest danger isn't traditional naval warfare, it's disruption. Attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea have forced many shipping companies to avoid the Suez route and sail around southern Africa instead. That increases shipping times, insurance costs, and prices for consumers worldwide. Cyber threats, drone attacks, missiles, regional conflicts, all have transformed maritime security into one of the biggest strategic challenges of the decade. The Suez Canal has become a symbol of a larger global competition. Who can protect trade routes? Who can respond fastest to crises? Who will shape the future rules of international shipping? The competition is no longer just about battleships. It's about logistics, diplomacy, technology, economic influence, and partnerships with regional countries. Every major naval deployment sends a strategic message. The next time you buy a smartphone, fill your car with fuel, or order something online, there's a good chance it traveled through the Suez Canal. This narrow waterway remains one of the world's most valuable strategic choke points. And while headlines often focus on wars and politics, a quieter competition continues every day, one fought through naval deployments, alliances, and the constant effort to keep global trade moving. Imagine a single waterway so important that if it closed tomorrow, the global economy could lose billions of dollars every day. Every year, thousands of ships carrying oil, natural gas, food, electronics, and military supplies pass through one narrow channel connecting Europe and Asia. That waterway is the Suez Canal. But behind the endless lines of cargo ships lies a quiet struggle for influence. Powerful countries are expanding their naval presence, protecting trade routes, and competing for strategic advantage. This is the hidden battle for the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal is one of the world's most important maritime choke points. It links the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, cutting thousands of kilometers from voyages between Europe and Asia. Around 12-15 of global trade passes through this route each year, making it essential for international shipping. When the container ship Ever Given became stuck in the canal in 2021, hundreds of ships were delayed, disrupting global supply chains and demonstrating how vulnerable this critical passage can be. Today, countries including the United States, China, France, United Kingdom, and regional powers maintain naval forces in or around the Red Sea to safeguard shipping, support allies, deter threats, and protect their strategic interests. While the canal itself is operated by Suez Canal Authority under Egyptian sovereignty, the surrounding region has become an increasingly important arena for international competition. In this video, we'll explore why the Suez Canal matters so much, who is competing for influence around it, and what this means for the future of global trade and security. The Suez Canal. For over a century, this narrow strip of water has served as the juggernaut of global trade, a vital ribbon connecting the East and the West. But today, beneath the calm surface, a silent competition is brewing. Advanced surveillance, stealthy drones, and submerged vessels are the new players in a high-stakes game of maritime shadows. This is no longer just about the passage of cargo. It is a struggle for strategic dominance and the control of information flow in an increasingly interconnected and volatile global landscape. Recent shifts in regional security have sent shockwaves through the industry. We now see a massive rerouting of shipping traffic around Africa, exposing fragile vulnerabilities in the global supply chain. The economic fallout is staggering. Rising insurance costs and fuel surcharges are creating a ripple effect, straining international commerce and impacting the prices of goods in every household worldwide. In an effort to secure these waters, an unprecedented coalition of international naval forces has gathered. Multilateral patrols now monitor the horizons, creating a tense but necessary security umbrella. Egypt stands at the center of this geopolitical storm. As the guardian of the canal, the Egyptian Navy maintains a constant and formidable presence to protect its most critical sovereign asset. Inside the Suez Canal Authority, technology meets tradition. Operators monitor every square inch of the waterway in real time, ensuring that this heartbeat of commerce never stops beating. From the Mediterranean to the Red Sea, the geography itself dictates the terms of power. This bottleneck remains one of the most significant strategic prizes and potential targets in the world. The United States continues to project its maritime influence here. Carrier strike groups represent a clear signal of intent to keep the sea lanes open for trillions in global trade. For Europe, the canal is an energy lifeline. For China, it is a crown jewel of the maritime Silk Road. Both powers rely on the predictable stability of this single waterway. Russia also recognizes the shifting tides. By expanding its naval reach through the canal, it seeks to project power far beyond its traditional borders and into the warm waters of the South. It is a complex landscape of joint military exercises and high-level diplomatic maneuvers. Every alliance formed and every ship deployed is a move on a global chessboard with no end. As evening falls over the desert sands, the silhouette of passing giants reminds us of our dependence. The canal is a bridge between eras, where history continues to be written every day. Beyond the physical ships, the race has moved into the digital realm. The flow of commerce is now inseparable from the flow of data and energy that powers our modern civilization. Looking toward the horizon, the Suez Canal remains the ultimate symbol of global influence, a place where the legacy of the past and the technology of the future collide forever. Today's biggest danger isn't traditional naval warfare, it's disruption. Attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea have forced many shipping companies to avoid the Suez route and sail around southern Africa instead. That increases shipping times, insurance costs, and prices for consumers worldwide. Cyber threats, drone attacks, missiles, regional conflicts, all have transformed maritime security into one of the biggest strategic challenges of the decade. Imagine if a single waterway could decide the fate of the global economy. A narrow canal in Egypt, less than 200 kilometers long, carries around 12 to 15% of global trade and connects Europe with Asia in the shortest possible route. Now imagine that the world's most powerful navies are all competing to secure influence around this strategic passage. This isn't a Hollywood thriller, it's happening right now. Welcome to the hidden naval race for the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal links the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, eliminating the need for ships to sail around Africa. Without it, many voyages become thousands of kilometers longer, adding days or even weeks to shipping schedules, and dramatically increasing fuel costs. Nearly every major economy depends on this route. Container ships carrying electronics, oil tankers supplying Europe, natural gas shipments, military vessels moving between oceans, all rely on this narrow passage. When the Ever Given blocked the canal in 2021, world trade was disrupted almost instantly, reminding everyone how fragile global supply chains really are. Today's biggest danger isn't traditional naval warfare, it's disruption. Attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea have forced many shipping companies to avoid the Suez route and sail around southern Africa instead. That increases shipping times, insurance costs, and prices for consumers worldwide. Cyber threats, drone attacks, missiles, and regional conflicts have all transformed maritime security into one of the biggest strategic challenges of the decade. The Suez Canal has become a symbol of a larger global competition. Who can protect trade routes? Who can respond fastest to crises? Who will shape the future rules of international shipping? The competition is no longer just about battleships. It's about logistics, diplomacy, technology, economic influence, and partnerships with regional countries. Every major naval deployment sends a strategic message. The next time you buy a smartphone, fill your car with fuel, or order something online, there's a good chance it traveled through the Suez Canal. This narrow waterway remains one of the world's most valuable strategic choke points. And while headlines often focus on wars and politics, a quieter competition continues every day, one fought through naval deployments, alliances, and the constant effort to keep global trade moving. The Suez Canal links the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, eliminating the need for ships to sail around Africa. Without it, many voyages become thousands of kilometers longer, adding days or even weeks to shipping schedules, and dramatically increasing fuel costs. Nearly every major economy depends on this route. Container ships carrying electronics, oil tankers supplying Europe, natural gas shipments, military vessels moving between oceans, all rely on this narrow passage. When the Ever Given blocked the canal in 2021, world trade was disrupted almost instantly, reminding everyone how fragile global supply chains really are. The Suez Canal, the strategic maritime gateway. Although many countries depend on the canal, Egypt controls it. The canal generates billions of dollars in revenue every year and is one of Egypt's most important economic assets. Protecting it has become a national priority. Egypt has expanded the canal and modernized its security systems. However, geography alone isn't enough. The canal's southern entrance opens into the Red Sea, a region that has become increasingly unstable. Several major powers maintain naval forces here to protect shipping, secure energy supplies, and ensure freedom of navigation. Key global players include the United States, which maintains a strong regional naval presence. The United Kingdom and France also continue to operate in the region with long-standing military deployments. And China, which has expanded its overseas naval capabilities, including a base in Djibouti. Regional powers also maintain significant naval forces because instability around the canal affects their own security and economies. This global presence is a competition to protect interests and maintain influence over one of the world's most vital maritime routes. The Gulf is becoming the world's most contested waters. A silent naval race is accelerating in the strategic flashpoint. Three critical factors are driving this massive military buildup. First, energy security. Millions of barrels of oil and gas pass through these narrow channels every day, fueling the global economy. Any disruption here creates a global crisis, forcing nations to deploy advanced fleets to protect their vital trade routes. Factor to competition and regional tension. Rapid response maneuvers and constant surveillance have become the new daily reality. Local navies are modernizing rapidly to counter threats and maintain a fragile balance of power in contested zones. Factor 3. Great power competition. The US, China, and Russia are all vying for strategic influence and long-term port access. From high-tech naval assets to complex diplomatic summits, the Gulf has become a key arena for global dominance. As technology advances and interests collide, the naval race continues to reshape the future of global security. The waters of the Gulf are growing crowded. An intense naval race is accelerating in one of the world's most critical maritime choke points. The first driver is energy security. A significant portion of the world's oil and LNG passes through the narrow Strait of Hormuz every single day. Any disruption here sends shockwaves through global markets, making constant naval protection an absolute necessity for international stability. Second, competition with Iran remains a central focus. Strategic rivalries are driving a surge in maritime military assets across the region. Rapid response drills and high-speed maneuvers are now a daily reality in these high-tension environments, where every movement is closely monitored. Finally, the Gulf has become a theater for great power competition. Global powers are establishing deeper strategic footprints to secure their interests. Massive aircraft carriers and advanced destroyers docked at regional ports symbolize the shifting alliances and the growing military presence in the area. As the race for the Gulf intensifies, the stakes for global security rise. The future of international trade rests on these very waves. The competition inside the Strait of Hormuz is no longer just a localized dispute between neighbors. It is a microcosm of the new global order. 5 naval powers, each driven by entirely different motives ranging from survival and energy security. Asymmetric dominance are tightly packed into a 21-mile corridor. As technology advances and geopolitical friction continues, the country that successfully masters this narrow waterway won't just control a shipping lane. They will hold an unshakable veto power over the global economy. What do you think? Can the US and international coalitions keep the strait permanently open? Or will asymmetric warfare give local actors the ultimate upper hand? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Right now, a quiet but incredibly high-stakes military standoff is unfolding at a narrow, 21-mile-wide strip of water. It is the Strait of Hormuz, the absolute most critical choke point in the global energy market. This single waterway controls the lifeblood of the global economy. If it shuts down completely, global markets face an immediate cardiac arrest. Following intense military flare-ups, drone strikes, and a landscape cluttered with dozens of underwater naval mines, the stakes have never been higher. But behind the daily news headlines lies a much deeper, more complex chess match. 5 distinct global naval powers are actively deployed here. They aren't just protecting trade. They are competing for strategic dominance in an evolving era of maritime warfare.